What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. We are riding the Red Dragon, it looks like, at a price of $1.95 from a recent high of about $2.28.46. We have gone down, for those of you who are in the Discord, we had a little conversation about the price up here, talking about how exciting things were looking, and like, is it time to buy? Is it go time? Things look convincing to go to the upside, and the whole time I was saying no. I think this is just going to be a lower high. I know all of us are probably feeling the FOMO right now. This was an 18% day. I didn't catch this move. I didn't sell it up here. I didn't buy it like right down here. I did buy some actually a little bit lower. I did buy some at around, what was it, 180. I bought some at 180 there, and some at 175 as well, but just a little bit. So yes, I was in the green a little bit, but I was feeling a little bit of FOMO. But all in all, I did say, tell this FOMO to piss off, tell it to shove off, tell it to just go away, because ultimately most of the time when you see moves like this that are driven on news, especially after the news has happened, you tend to revert back to where you were before, and if not, go lower. And I do think we're going to go lower. I do think that this price down here does not hold, and that we do end up going to an ultimate price of about 135 to 150, somewhere in that range, with the potential even to drop to 120, just a little bit below 120 actually, but around 120. And I've listed my reasons for that in plenty of previous videos, but here we'll go over it real quick right now. From a low point here, the most relative low to the most relative high, we have the 618 to the 69. It's right there at 135 to 148.5. We're going to call it 150 to 135, somewhere in there, because you could bottom just above the 618. You don't have to hit this line exactly, but I do think more likely than not, you probably will go to the 69 and bounce from there. But there is potential that you could go to the 786 and bounce from there, and that 786 is just below 120. So somewhere around there would make sense. That's also, if we take the low or the high to low here, that lines up right with the mid-range of this overall price range. The 0.5 lines up right there with the 786. So if you've seen my previous videos, you would know that I do find significance at times. Charts find significance at times in previous price ranges at the halfway point of a previous price range. So that lining up with the 786, I think it is something to be aware of and to find potential relevance on. On the daily here, I have talked about this in my past couple of videos as well, that I do think that where we find our low for the price, we will probably bounce off of the 50 here on the RSI. On the long-term RSI, this is the 123 RSI. If you have your RSI pulled up, you change it to 123 on your input. 123 there, that'll give you this. Look for that, because if we bounce off of the point, or the 50 here, I would think that that will be our low. If we come down and we form some kind of bounce like that, I would think that that's our low in price. We could go a little bit lower than that line. After all, we did find support or resistance there before, but we also found resistance just a little bit below it at about 49.39, 49 and a half, something like that. It doesn't seem like that big of a difference, but on the RSI, that can be a big difference, honestly. On the long-term RSI, at least. But anyways, looking at this in a more immediate time frame, yesterday I was talking about how we had this 3 black crows pattern where you have 3 red candles. Bukowski defines it here as candles that open in the body before and close down below, but his example that he actually gives is, it's kind of like what we have now, although this moved sideways afterwards, and likely it probably did continue downward. But here we had our 3 black crows, and it actually continued to move downward afterwards. It doesn't have to, now we have 4 black crows, whatever. It doesn't have to just be 3, but this, at the moment, at the time of making that video, these 3 candles did look bearish and do look bearish and do imply, with a high degree of likelihood, at this point in time, it's ranked number 3 out of 103 candlestick patterns. This is the 3rd best performing pattern, with a 78% likelihood that it'll be a bearish reversal. Well, here we go. You had your up move right here, bearish reversal right there, 78% of the time. I think we're getting it. I really do think we're getting it right now. And where could this go from here? I feel like I've already said that. I think that we're going to go between about 135 to 150, potentially even lower than that. But looking at the RSI on the daily, we have broken out of this overall lower or higher low structure. We've broken out of this here. You can see here you've got your higher lows forming right there. I'll zoom it in a little bit so you can see it better. We've broken out of that. We are below the 45. You know, the 50 area itself is sometimes significant, but on the Bitcoin Cash chart, I find it's not as significant as this like 53, 55 area, somewhere in there. And we broke below that. Also, same thing with like the 45 area, and we've broken below that as well. So I do think that the RSI itself wants to go into this oversold zone, probably form a higher low. It doesn't have to form a higher low. We could form a lower low. And then from there, maybe we form some bullish divergence. We get a higher low in the RSI and a lower low in price. But who knows? You know, one way or another, what I do expect is right now that we are going to go into the oversold zone again. And on the daily, when that happens, we probably will see our bigger moves come into play, just as we did last time. You know, out of this whole range, the biggest moves that took place happened, other than this green candle, they happened in the oversold zone, right? You can see how these red candles here are the biggest candles we've seen throughout this whole range, and it happened at our weakest points in the RSI. So weak RSI means big moves to the downside. Strong RSI means big moves to the upside. So, and you can get big moves even without that. You know, it doesn't have to be like that. But I would expect that as we get to the oversold zone, we do see some bigger moves, and those moves likely will take us down. I would think below 150, and at the most down to 135. But there is potential to see prices again at the 120 area. And if we take this fib, I know I did the overall fib from this low to this high here, but if we take this fib from low to high here, you can see that the 135 area, the 133, actually it's 133 and 83 cents, so it's like 134. The low point, the 0.69 of that overall range, it lines up very well with this 1618. We could go there. The 150 area is the 1272, so even on this fib range, it kind of agrees with this price all in all. Looking at the, where is it? Where are you? I thought I had it. I'm going to go back here. Maybe new tab. I thought, oh, okay, that's what it was. Crypto Fear and Greed Index. Today, you guys, we are one notch less fearful than we were yesterday. We are one notch less fearful than we were yesterday. If you look at this, we had a red day. We've had a very bearish recovery to the downside. If we look at Bitcoin, the Mac Daddy coin of all of crypto, whether you like it or you don't, you know, I know a lot of Bitcoin Cash people don't like Bitcoin, but you know, it is the Mac Daddy nonetheless. I guess it had a green day. It did have a 0.28% green day. And with this is the second lowest close we've seen in this whole range. One of the lowest closes we've seen since literally since the middle of June of this year. So we're a little bit more bullish now, and we're having our second lowest close out of that whole amount of time. It doesn't make sense to me, man. It really doesn't make sense to me at all. Very low volume on that day as well. Very neutral looking day after a big sell-off that just kind of engulfed this whole fake pump we had. We have a triple bottom here. When do triple bottoms ever hold? It's very, very unlikely that it does, especially just with how this looks, man. It doesn't look healthy at all. I do think we go lower, but that's just Bitcoin. BCH itself, same thing. Doesn't look good. It does look like it wants to go lower. I bet a lot of people are expecting that we're going to hold this kind of trend line here. I don't think we do. Maybe we have some kind of pop off of it. Maybe we do move up to about the 210 area, maybe lower, who knows. Maybe we even move up all the way up here to this previous area where we found support, we confirm it as resistance, and we have a lower high. Who knows? All in all, I don't think much will come of this. I don't even expect a move like that to happen. I do think that we are going to get continuation downward. It is the weekend, and it is Labor Day weekend, so things can be boring for the next couple of days, but all in all, I do think that we are still in shape to form lower lows in the price than this low, and I think, again, that'll take us around 135 to 150. Looking at the 4-hour RSI, very, very weak looking RSI. We are getting near this oversold zone. I do think that this would imply that we do see stronger moves to the downside in the coming day or days, within like a day to 3 days probably. But it doesn't have to happen that way. You know, we could find a bounce from here, but I do think that we see within the next day to 3 days a move that will take us back to this low, if not through it. I think that is coming very, very soon. So looking at the 1 hour, very weak RSI as well, kind of neutral but to the weak side, I would say. So yeah, that's really all I have to say, guys. I think Bitcoin Cash is going lower. You guys know where I think it's going. It's the same price area that I've been saying since up here. A little bit more refined now. Originally I was saying 185 to 135. Now that we've gotten down here below the 185 range, I think it's more like 150 to 135. So, anyways, if you guys like the video, leave a thumbs up, hit the like button. Really appreciate it. Subscribe as well, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.